Greetings. Welcome to a somber Monday afternoon vlog. It is Monday, July 13th. It's about 3 o'clock. I've had a bad day. I was supposed to record a mod guide this morning on Journey Map. And on the newest version, there's been tons of new math that's been put in behind the scenes to make it improve in performance, improve in speed, make it more configurable, etc., etc. And I was going to use FTB Infinity because I've been hearing great things about the pack, and one of the latest versions that I saw on the FTB launcher was 1.8. So I loaded it up. 1.7 was there for a while, 1.70, but the official FTB Infinity server, like last night or the night before, upgraded to 1.80. So I grabbed 1.80, I loaded it up, I made the single player world, and I tried several times to record, and I would have it crash out. Like completely crash out the whole Minecraft instance. And if you're capturing video footage while the game you're capturing from crashes out, odds are that footage is completely unusable. So, yeah. It's not been a great day. On that front, at least, it has not been a great day. I've gone through about 6 crashes. About 2 of them were server-side crashes. No. Yeah. Basically, one of them was NEI integration. Tonius's NEI integration. It has been compiled against a higher version of Forge than they put in 1.80 of the FTB Infinity. That's just a dumb mistake right there. Crash number 2 is being caused by, it is a block update that's happening with one of the portal blocks for the obelisk somewhere in the world that I have explored for Thaumcraft. And it is basically getting into an update loop, like a recursion loop or whatever you want to call it. I can't remember what the term is. But it gets into a loop and it starts using more and more and more and more resources until it just crashes the game out. So I'll start seeing my performance drop. And once the performance starts dropping that sharply, within 20 seconds it's going to crash. Within. Sometimes it's like as little as 2. Sometimes it's like 10 or 15. The first time it happened, it was like 10 or 15 seconds and it just kind of, and then tanked. Every time it does that, I lose footage and I have to restart. And I've found one obelisk and popped it and busted it. I just walked up there in creative mode and bang, 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 killed the obelisk. But that didn't seem to solve the problem. So there's some other component, or I'm not breaking the right block or something. It's a pain in the butt. So my whole day has been tossed out the window in terms of productivity for that. I postponed making a Vaygrim's Chance episode for today specifically so I could do that. I could devote all of that time to it, because the other thing I need to do today is reset my test server. My test server is woefully behind. I still don't have a version 1.08 of Modpack out because I kept running across problems and I just kind of stepped away for a couple of weeks. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a completely new update. It's going to be 1.08.5 technically, and I'm going to I've shut the server down. Everybody on Patreon has been warned about this. I've shut the server down. I'm going to start a new world up from scratch. Everybody starts all over again to make sure that we don't have any stuff that is holdovers from older versions. Because there's a point where on the test server we had a couple of versions of BuildCraft that were questionable. And so it's getting aggravating. I'm thinking about rewinding BuildCraft back to the version I have in 1.07, specifically because I know that one works. It's rock solid. The robots don't work, but I mean the rest of the mod itself does. So the greater problem I've had is like the newer versions of BuildCraft are conflicting constantly with one mod or another. Morbilar has been going through a problem with trying to get BuildCraft 7 to actually cooperate with anything. She finally got it to cooperate with certain versions of Forge multi-parts, but then it started clashing with Equivalent Exchange 3, and it's just been this cascade process. Yeah. So my test server, I I really do love having my own mod pack customized to my uses, but I am so tired of trying to iron out the crashes, trying to get the pack working. I'm exhausted. I'm sick of trying to update it. I'm trying to push out one last update to get some new features from Project E, new features from Ender.io. I'm trying to get. I probably can't update AE2 anymore because all the newer versions of AE2 have like crazy ass memory leaks and crap on ForgeCraft 2 that we can't use, so I don't want to use it. And it's also the factor of like any day now they're going to forcibly remove, supposedly, the no channels option that got put in for folks like me in the first place. Because apparently the people that are now maintaining AE2 don't like the fact that Algorithm X2 bowed to pressure and put that in. And so I might be stuck. I'm version locked, I think, on AE2 now. I'm version locked on Mechanism. I don't want to update that because I can't trust 100% for sure bulletproof that it is going to actually update every single world out there seamlessly and easily from Mechanism 7 to Mechanism 8. So I can't use it. Yeah, there are so many mods like random things. I have the last update to random things for 1.7.10. Lumion has moved on to 1.8 for whatever damned reason. He's moved on to Minecraft 1.8. So we're not getting any updates, bug fixes, like their ender letters are causing problems. If you use ender letters, you have about a 1 in 6 chance of crashing out. And I can't get a fix for that because he won't push a fix out for that for 1.7 because he's moved on. So I've got like 2 or 3 mods in my pack that have been abandoned now. And I've got several more that have moved on to 1.8 and several more that I can't ever update. Like I can't ever update to Chisel 2. I'm stuck on Chisel 1.5.7 specifically because if I update to Chisel 2, all of the micro blocks everywhere in your world will get scrambled. And I can't do that to newbies. I can't do that to rookies. And that's who my packs are. That's who my pack is aimed at. So I have tons, like more than half the pack, I can't update anymore. The other half that I do want to update or can update doesn't want to play well together. They won't snap into place and be stable. So it's maddening. It's absolutely maddening. And I'm getting tired of it. I just want to get 1.8 out, updated, and that's going to be the last update for the pack. I'm going to stop at 1.8. And I cannot wait till that point. Let's see. Yeah, so my day was supposed to be record a mod guide, get it in the renderer, and then start working on resetting the Patreon test server and getting the new version update for the mod pack out for the test server so I can get that going. I have to run it for at least 2 weeks before I'm going to consider it stable. If we get no crashes in 2 weeks, then I'm finally going to push it out, and that's going to be it for the pack. Yeah. But my whole day has been eaten up with repeated crashes from, well, okay, first of all, Curse Voice decided to start duplicating my mod packs, and I would have 2 instances of something. I almost erased one of the duplicates, and then I stopped and thought, and I went and checked the directories, and there's only 1 directory of each thing. So if I would have erased a duplicate, it would have taken the core directory out, which would have erased the original. And I confirmed Teddy had this exact same problem. He told me, if you have duplicates, don't erase the duplicates because you'll be erasing the original also. He made that mistake. So I was using the Curse launcher for my production launcher because I started running across performance issues with Multi-MC. Well, I'm shifting back to Multi-MC now because I can't trust Curse because I don't know what's going on with it. They also state that I'm on an alpha branch. I didn't really intend to be on the alpha branch of the Minecraft part of it, but apparently I'm on an alpha branch for the Minecraft launcher, and the alpha branch and the beta branch aren't cross-compatible. So I can't roll back, or none of my packs will work. So it is basically, today has been a combined nightmare, technically speaking. And I just want it to be over. Adding into that, to really kind of set the tone for things, yesterday news came down from the newswire, that Nintendo Japan announced that Satoru Iwata, the president of Nintendo Corporation, like Nintendo, they announced that he died yesterday. Died at the age of 55. Not that old. I'm not that far away from that age. He died at 55 years old. He had last year at some point surgery having to do with his bile ducts in his stomach, I think. And his doctors encouraged him to not travel out of Japan, to not fly. And they didn't want to see what the strain would be on the system. That's one of the reasons why this year at E3, Nintendo didn't have a show there. They did it remote. They streamed it in. And they had the puppet show and all that crazy stuff. That's why they did that. Because Iwata couldn't fly. And that's one of the main reasons why they did that. I think they did have Square Enix had a presence, and they had some stuff in there from Nintendo. But Nintendo themselves, they had a booth, and you could go play some things, but they didn't have the big show with all the execs like they normally do. And that's why. Well, he died from complications of his stomach problems on Sunday. And it has really hit the gaming community hard because, I mean, that is basically the president of Nintendo. That's the man that, when met with the disappointing sales of the 3DS, the Game Boy 3DS, and the Wii U, when corporate saw that, Nintendo corporate saw that sales for those units had been bad, he voluntarily halved his pay. He took a penalty to his own salary as recompense for this failure on his part, and he took responsibility for it. That's big. It's also the fact that the man was basically a black belt in terms of programming. He knew there were so many stunts that he's pulled off. There are all of these tales of him getting, like, I think it was Pokemon Black and White, no, or Gold and Silver, I can't remember. Pokemon Gold and Silver. They had two different cities that they were supposed to have in one of these games, and the studio that was developing it could only fit one onto the cartridge, and he managed to figure out a method of compression that got basically twice the content onto the game cartridge as what it was originally supposed to do. I can't remember if that was the right version of Pokemon or not, but it was a Pokemon game, I remember that. And so many other things that he has actually, like, ported games to the N64 version, the Nintendo 64, from an other version. He ported games from scratch, all by himself. There was no documentation, no nothing. He did it himself. He figured it out. So he was a vanguard. He was basically, legend in several regards. And I'm not sure how it's going to impact Nintendo culture, what changes are going to happen because of his passing. It's quite common to see when they have a corporate head like this, that suddenly, dies. Like, the best example of this is Steve Jobs and Apple. Steve Jobs' influence is still being felt today, and he died several years ago. So he is still dictating some policies and some new products. There are still products that are being investigated and being researched right now, being developed, that were started or initially being researched and developed while Jobs is still alive. There's still corporate policies that are just now going into effect, or plans just now going into effect from just before Jobs died. So they have lots of documentation, and they have lots of rules, and they have lots of, kind of, I don't want to say, how do you say this? It's like they make sure that all the rules and the documentation and the ideas and all the brainstorming, the vision is put down, and it is put on paper or in data form, and it is kept for the sake of making sure that the vision of that CEO stays and gets carried on past when they leave, so that there is a smoother transition. In case something happens like this, then the new guy that steps into office has the work of his predecessor to lean on while he gets adjusted to the position. The big problem is who's going to take the position over, because Miyamoto has been bounced around. Miyamoto is a Nintendo legend in his own right as well. I can't remember his first name. I never can. But he's not, and he has proclaimed this himself, he's not management material. He doesn't want to be president. But technically speaking, he would be next in line. If he doesn't take it up, who will? I don't think they're going to let an American run the company. There's Reggie Fils-Aimé, but he runs Nintendo America, but I don't think they're going to let him run things in Nintendo corporate. It was a miracle almost that Iwata got into position, because Iwata was the first president of Nintendo that wasn't a member of the Yamauchi family, the founding family of the Nintendo Corporation. He was the first guy to step in that wasn't a member of the Yamauchi family line. So he was the first outsider, so to speak, of the family to run the corporation. Who's going to do it next? I don't think they're going to let Reggie take over. And can't remember if Reggie's American or not, but he seems American, so I'll just go with that. He runs Nintendo America. I don't think they're going to let a non-Japanese, an outsider, take over the corporation. So who takes over next? An unknown? What kind of policy changes are there going to be? There's lots of speculation to be had, and I don't have the answers, but it's going to be interesting to watch. It is a pity to see the death of Iwata, though. My deepest condolences do go out to the Iwata family. If I think he was married and had kids, can't remember. But, and of course, upper management and Nintendo themselves. It was a definite blow to the gaming community, and there are still people talking about it on Twitter. And yeah, I think we're going to see the ripples of that and what effect it's going to have on Nintendo for months and years to come. There were some changes finally happening with Nintendo corporate, but they still have some policies that are very much rooted in the 19th century. Nintendo corporate saw Let's Plays on YouTube as theft. And Iwata was a part of that decision. He didn't like the concept. He thought that people, if you watched somebody else play the game on YouTube, then it would motivate you to not buy the game yourself, because you would have enjoyed it already. You would have had that experience. And they saw YouTube as taking money out of their pockets. So they came up with these very archaic policies where you had to get a channel approved by Nintendo corporate, and you had to sign a contract with them that forked over 40% of your ad revenue for your channel. That's how you paid them for the privilege of being able to run a Let's Play of their actual games. The only way to get around that is if you were officially endorsed by their marketing department as being a big name channel, like maybe the Yogs or something like that, or somebody like PewDiePie or Markiplier, some big name that would be considered a valid advertising channel. Otherwise, if it was somebody small to medium size, like say me, or the best example of this is Angry Joe, you get your stuff taken down unless you sign this contractual agreement that gives away 40% of your income from ad revenue off your channel. And they also hold the right to yank that contract at any minute, and they held the right, while you're putting Nintendo content on your channel, to tell you to remove other content that they see doesn't seem fit to air side by side with Nintendo content. The contract is very convoluted, and I'm not even sure if all those details are right. That's what I have read through numerous news sources. And I don't want to bash Iwata. That's not the point of this. The point is that while he was very progressive and very forward-thinking in some areas, he was very old-fashioned in other areas. And I do wonder if that is going to change, or if we're going to have a reversion and get somebody in Nintendo corporate that is even more old-fashioned and is even more stuck in the old ways, and Nintendo gets set back even more. Well, let's see. I don't know. I'm hoping they get somebody a little younger and a little bit more hip in office, and they start changing some of their policies, but we'll see. Condolences go to Nintendo America and Nintendo Japan. I cannot even begin to imagine what is going on at those offices right now. I'm going to shut this down and go ahead and get it in the render and post it. I still have a lot of work to figure out on what's going on with FTB Infinity, if I'm going to use that for some of my mod guides that I need to record here in the next few weeks or what. But I'll try to keep you updated, try and have a good week. I'll talk to you later. Bye.